Did you know, in the United States, there is one divorce every 30 seconds? This translates to 108 divorces per hour and 2,600 per day. About 45% of first marriages in the U.S. end in divorce. Did you also know that 69% of divorces in the U.S. are initiated by the wife? Sadly, the average duration of marriage is approximately 13 years. The top reasons for divorce are lack of commitment, constant bickering, infidelity. Marriage ceremonies often take on a wide variety of looks based on the couple's preferences and even their religious practices. They can be elaborate ceremonies to simple appearances before a justice of the peace. They can take place in grand cathedrals or churches, or simply out in the open air under the great canopy of God's creation.
On June 28, 1992, the largest earthquake in Southern California history struck at 4:57 a.m. I was living on the 4th floor of my university dorm room. Foolishly, I ran over to the window and watched as the ground rolled and the W-tur in the swimming pool slished from side to side without leaving the pool. Later that afternoon, at the university church, I married my first wife. In fact, she has been my only wife. And we are still married today. As I welcomed her by taking her hand and kissing it, the pastor said if I thought the morning wake was jolting, I would be in gore a surprise when I see my wife angry. The entire congregation chuckled.
That video clip and story actually came from my wedding. Marriage must be incredibly important to God because there are about 100 scriptures that talk about it. And Christ likens his relationship to the church as a bridegroom that is eagerly awaiting his bride. God is a relational God, and he has created humanity for relationships as well. God established the very first marriage with Adam and Eve, and he blessed them. And he gave them explicit directives, which we can read in Genesis 1:28.
And God blessed them. And God said unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
As a Seventh-day Adventist Christian, I believe it's important to uphold God's biblical counsel for healthy relationships and a happy home. Strong families are the foundations to a thriving church and a healthy community. As I have shared in my belief about the biblical, literal 6-day creation week, in the beginning God created a beautiful world, and he filled it with all kinds of animals. After he had created all the other necessary and living things that would support and sustain human life and enjoyment, God then created the first man, whom he named Adam. As Adam worked with God to name all of the animals, he saw that each animal had a mate. Every animal species could start a family, begin to populate the earth. But when Adam looked to find his mate, she could not be found. Let's read what the Bible recorded of this event in Genesis 2:20.
And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field, but for Adam there was not found an helpmeet for him.
Since God created Adam to be a sentient and rational being, I believe he intended this exercise to be a first lesson or an awakening for Adam. As a teacher myself, I can appreciate this intentional learning experience. We refer to it in teaching as teaching to the moment. Adam needed to feel for himself the desire for a human partner, and God orchestrated the learning experience to help Adam draw his own conclusion. Once Adam drew his conclusion, God gave Adam a response, and we can read it in Genesis 2, verses 18 to 22.
And the Lord God said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him."
I think it's interesting. God didn't choose to take a bone from Adam's foot. He didn't take a piece of Adam's skull. Instead, God took a rib from Adam's side. That symbolizes equality and care that they needed to show for each other. God made men and women to be equal partners in life experience, to walk side by side. Now, this doesn't mean God did not set out gender roles. Men are naturally more factual, strong, protective. Women are more nurturing, tender, verbal. However, notwithstanding our gender roles and our biological differences, we were created to be equal. We needed both men and women. Our gender identity is central to God's plan for men and women. The Apostle Peter wrote about this in 1 Peter 3:7.
Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered.
God ordained the very first union. Even before there was any trace of sin or sadness, He blessed marriage, and He continued to do so throughout the entire Bible. With Adam and Eve as our very first example of a married couple, God defined marriage in Genesis chapter 2, verse 24.
Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
Based on the scriptures we read today, I believe marriage was divinely established in Eden to be a lifelong union between a man and a woman in loving companionship.
This has been a special presentation of Harvest with your host, Dr. Michael John Cookenmaster. Thanks for watching. You may watch Harvest two ways. On YouTube, be sure to subscribe at Harvest Ministries, or on Facebook through Dr. Cookenmaster's page. Be sure to like, comment, and share. See you next time.